So your begin checkout events aren't tracking. Let's talk about what your options are. This may sound a little bit similar if you have some of these other events that are not tracking. The thing that you need to do is you need to get a data layer in place, meaning that you have to write some code, some JavaScript, or your engineering team does, or your web developer does, where you get the items that are in the checkout, their prices, their quantities, their IDs, and you push that to a data layer. Then you use Tag Manager to read that data layer and send the data to Google Analytics. So if you have a breakdown like incorrect data in the data layer, that can be an area where you have problems. If you have incorrect settings or logic in Google Tag Manager, that can be where you have problems. If when the data makes it to GA4, for some reason you're missing one of the required fields, sometimes GA4 will just ignore the data that was sent altogether. Let me talk about the ways to execute this efficiently. And I can do that first by describing the way not to do this. What you don't do is hire a non-technical person to read the Google Docs, take a picture of them, or even worse, pay for their time to copy and paste them into a Word doc, or type them out and pretty them up and put them in a Word doc, send them to the engineering team and say, good luck. The engineering team looks at them and goes, I thought this is what we did. I don't know what the problem is. It seems to me like it should be working. And then you spend weeks back and forth over email communication. That's the worst. That's how a bunch of agencies and groups operate this way. The best thing to do to knock this out in one pass is get engineer to engineer on the phone, analytics engineer who understands how to QA in Google Analytics and in Tag Manager, an engineer who understands the code base to communicate at the same time to identify the issue and resolve it once and for all. That's the most efficient way to handle this. Sometimes you have some weird stuff, just if you're thinking about solving this yourself. Sometimes you have some weird stuff where the checkout starts on a button click and the page for to view checkout loads before the event for starting the checkout fires if you were trying to fire it on that button click. So sometimes you have some race conditioning sort of stuff. This is a little weird. If you're not used to troubleshooting these things, there can be some tricky things. If you need some help with it, we've got a services team that loves to do this stuff. Don't hesitate to hit us up.